once we understand this bigger picture, this bigger vision, then we begin to look at our jobs. We begin to look at our choices. We begin to look at what I would call vehicles that we get ourselves in. This is what I would call your mission. For our companies, for those of you that are entrepreneurs, those of you that are business leaders, now that I have my personal vision statement of where I feel like I'm going, my truth, my promise for my future, now I'm able to bring along my company and discover, okay, how is my company going to help me get there? This mission statement is a lot of times your vision, personal vision statement, very possibly won't have anything to do with the actual work that you have, the actual work that you're doing, the actual job that you have. You probably, your vision statement won't have anything about home building or carpentry or plumbing, or being a doctor or anything like that, the service or product that you have in your company. But once you get to your mission statement, this is where your vehicle, the company that you have, how is your company going to help you walk out your vision statement? So for a mission statement, my personal mission statement that I have in my company right now is to set entrepreneurs free. Yes, I run into this thing, okay? To set entrepreneurs free. Another thing I could say is to set leaders free. What am I setting them free from? I'm setting them free from the weight of their company, having to bear the weight of their company all by themselves. So what we do in the Leadership Initiative is we help entrepreneurs build companies that run without them. We set them free. If I look back over my life when I was a school teacher in the inner city, what was I doing? I tell you what was really fulfilling and inspiring for me personally was when I was able to encourage a young kid in the inner city, when I was able to encourage and inspire them to go to college, whether it be through an athletic scholarship or through an academic scholarship, to go to college and inspire a future in their hearts and in their minds beyond the inner city, to set them free from the cycle of poverty, from the traps and the mentality of the inner city for them. That's where I found fulfillment. All of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh. Back then, I was fulfilling this bigger purpose, this bigger capital T, all the way back then. When I left teaching and took over the family business, my wife and I, we started a discipleship training school. And our whole purpose there was to set people free from the misunderstandings of who God was and how God feels about you. So often believers get trapped in this spot where we just don't fully understand who God is and what God thinks and how He feels about us. And so we live under this cloud of God's pissed at me all the time. God's mad at me because I'm not doing the right stuff. We misunderstand God, we misinterpret God, and then we judge Him based on our misinterpretation. Does that make sense? And therefore, we see the wrong picture of who He is. So we spent 10 years setting people free from that wrong mindset, from that mindset that was so limited about who God was and how He felt about them. And now that we're in the Leadership Initiative with our company, we set entrepreneurs free from having to bear the weight all by themselves, the loneliness and the weight of their company. So as I'm talking with entrepreneurs, I'm talking about, man, have you ever felt like this? Have you ever just felt overwhelmed, just maxed out? Have you ever been in this spot where, you know there's a future, but you don't know how to get there? Have you ever felt like, man, we've got a great product, we have a wonderful service, but I just don't know how to get it in front of the best buyers? Have you been in that spot before? It could be something much deeper than that, where you just feel like, I'm just not happy. But things just aren't turning out the way that I wanted them to turn out. Are you in the spot where, man, my people, although I really love them, they're great folks, God bless them, but man, they're driving me crazy. How am I going to get there? Or maybe you're in a spot where, well, we're profit-free again. You didn't plan to be profit-free. You're working a ton and you're making money, but there's no cash. Have you been in this spot before? Again, this is where we get to come. We get to come as in the Leadership Initiative. We bring the mission of the Leadership Initiative to these to entrepreneurs that feel alone, they feel isolated, they feel overwhelmed, they feel overworked, they feel underorganized. They feel like they don't have the support that they need, and they're going, what the heck have I done? And we come along and we support, we bring freedom. So for you personally, for your company, for your job, have you discovered, have you written down your mission statement of what you want to do? This is the future that you want to create. This is what you will do on a daily basis to reach that future. Have you written it down? I want to encourage you to do that. Spend some time. It's going to take you, it's possible that it could take you longer than an hour. It may take a weekend. It may take 2 weeks for you in contemplation and thinking about what your mission statement is. And then finally, we have our core values. You guys, the core values create boundaries to help you make decisions. This is who we are. I was speaking with one of my clients a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about core values, and he was going, Clay, I don't really think there's really a need for core values. I mean, integrity. Well, how many companies have integrity, as their core value? And I don't really think that a lot of companies that even say their core value is integrity, that they really follow that. I don't think that the core values are really inspiring people, all right? I had to catch him really quick, and I'm going, okay, slow down now. Core values aren't necessarily there to inspire people. Core values are there to create boundaries, to help you make decisions. You guys, I don't know what the exact percentage is here, but and I haven't done any science on this type of thing, but I promise you, these 3 pieces right here, if you have clarity on these 3 pieces, these 3 things will help you make probably 70 to 80% of your decisions every single day as a leader, if you have clarity on your vision, mission, and core values. Should we make this decision? Well, let's look at the core values. Let's look at our vision and mission. Does it line up? If it lines up, then you sure do it if you want to. If it doesn't line up, then if you choose it, it doesn't mean you can't choose it or shouldn't choose it, but if you do choose it, it could very easily take you into another direction that you may not want to go. Same thing is true for the people that you hire. As you begin to look at, and we talked quite a bit about this in our management level on how to hire, your vision, mission, and core values, how to use these as a measuring stick for people to hire. But again, this is so important for us as we start talking about pictures. What pictures do you have? What does the future look like for you? Have you taken time to write it down? How has your life story prepared you to lead into that picture? Again, I think so many times we come up, we get a position of leadership. Either it's given to us or we take on a position of leadership. We start a company. We go, I'm going to lead this company. But what ends up happening is I don't really have the bigger picture of where we're going other than I need a job. I need a paycheck. And I've got these skills and talents, so I'm going to start this job. I'm going to start this company so I can have a job and a paycheck. And again, it's not that that's wrong. I think in the life cycle, we have a pathway that we do called the E model. The E model starts with an idea for a new company. Did you guys know that 58%, I think it's like 58%, of the people that are walking around out there here in the United States have an idea for their own company, but they don't do it. They don't start their own company because the boundary, they hit up against this thing called emotion. And it is just too terrifying to start their own company. They have this great idea, want to do it, but the wage cage is much more comfortable than starting their own company. So many people don't move from the idea to the startup. The vision isn't strong enough. The vision isn't compelling enough for them. They're not bought into it. The comfort of the job, the comfort of the wage cage, getting that paycheck every week, having the insurance, that's too comfortable for them to give up, to move into the startup mode. But here's the deal. In startup mode, if we're not careful, you can start a company and never get out of startup mode. One of the evidences that you are still in startup mode is what I call the alien abduction test. If you were to be abducted by aliens for 30 days, would your company continue to grow? Would it stay the same and maintain? Or would it begin to go down? If your company would begin to go down if you were not there for 30 days, then you know that you are still in startup mode, because the company depends upon you. And what keeps people in startup mode rather than moving to the next level is simply education. You don't know what you don't know. You've got a skill, you've got a talent. I think it's Michael Gerber in the book E-Myth. He talks about so many times business owners are technicians with an entrepreneurial seizure all of a sudden. I think I'm going to start my own company. And so they start this company, but really they don't know how to run a business. They just know how to do the skill. They know how to do the plumbing. They know how to do the carpentry. They know how to do the home building. They know how to do the mechanics of a certain activity. But the importance of us moving over to a business, man, work on spelling that, huh? Moving over to the business model. It's simply a matter of education. Learning how to put systems together, how to put processes together. You guys, again, as leaders, this role, this responsibility that we have as a leader goes far beyond just your gifts and talents. Once again, let me say that. Your responsibility as a leader goes far beyond just your personal gifts and talents. And it begins to tap into not just the act of leading, not just the position of leading, but the personhood of a leader. And I promise you, if you have had an idea along the road of, I think I'll start my company, I think I'll start my own business, then your business has become a tool to shape you and form you. The struggles and difficulties that you are experiencing right now are the struggles and difficulties that are there to shape you and form you into the leader that you need to become. Another great tool to shape you and form you as a leader is marriage. Another great tool is parenthood, okay? If you don't own your own company, then another great tool is just having a job. Work is a great tool to shape you and form you. But so often what we do in our temporal, in our circumstantial truth right now, the struggles and difficulties that we have, we get frustrated, we start pointing the finger and blaming. Rather than, how do I get beyond this? How do I change? How do I expand my character? How do I expand my vision to inspire other people? So in our next session, we're going to start diving into once you have a compelling vision, how do you invite? How do you get people to actually follow you? But again, it's so important for you as a leader to tap into your picture, tap into your vision. And how has your life prepared you for this vision? That's why it's always interesting talking to college students, to 20-year-olds about vision. Because it's just kind of early in the game. It's not wrong, it's not bad, but it's just kind of early in the game to begin talking about big picture vision. Because we haven't been alive long enough at that point. You know, leadership classes in high school, I used to teach one. You know, and I loved it. I had a great time doing it. But really talking about leadership at this level, really what you're talking about, what our classes end up being, is really a whole lot more about team building and management. How to organize things, how to structure things, which is very important in leadership. But we're in our next session, session number 5, we're going to start talking about how do I invite? How does that work? How do I get people to come along with me? What's the mojo on that? So I'm looking forward to having that time with you in session number 5. This is session number 4, Winning in the Workplace with the Leadership Initiative. Look forward to seeing you in session 5.